So attention insurance agents, this video should be required for you to watch before you start selling insurance in 2025. No matter if you're a new agent, a seasoned agent, or you're thinking about getting started in the life insurance industry or insurance industry in general, this video is a must watch. Now, you might ask why I bring on a seasoned agent who's been really successful in this business. His first 8 months in the business sold over $200,000 of life insurance, but there's one problem. He ended up losing thousands and thousands of dollars. And what we're going to share with you guys in this video is the mistakes that he made, that I made, that agents need to know about, that you can literally avoid if you're failing in the business so that you can actually start making money right now. You can go through the years and the headaches and the heartaches that we've gone through, and you can avoid those so you can actually win. And ultimately, we're going to share with you how this agent is on track to earn an actual 6 figures in a real system. He's going to share with you how you can sell appropriately, share with you why leads are so important. Watch out for the red flags in the industry, how you can go broke as an agent, and most importantly, share with you his sales system that allows him to sell 2 to 3 policies every single day. So if you want to learn from a successful agent who's gone through the mess, who's learned and basically failed, tried, won, succeeded, and gone through all these different stages of an agent, this video is going to educate you so that you don't have to go through all the pain. So let's go ahead and let's jump in. Let's do it. I want to share with you a little bit about kind of like first off, a little bit of success. Why should people listen to this? More importantly, draw a lot of attention to new agents and ultimately seasoned agents. But before we get started, before like joining with Legacy Family Life, to share where you're at, but what are some of the sales results that you've drove? How much premium, how much hundreds of thousands of premium do you think you've sold in your career as a life insurance agent?
Yeah, before I joined y'all, I probably sold 250, 300. My first 12 months in the business full time, because I started while I was in college. I did about 200,000 in issued paid.
Wow.
Sales is one thing, but people actually making their payments and showing on the numbers is different. So about 200,000 my first year full time issue paid.
200,000 for time. And in regards to how are you doing that? What was like the system, or what was allowing you to create those results when you were first getting started? Kind of walk us through the beginning of being that agent.
Yeah, honestly, it was just hard work. Dude, it was grinding Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. It wasn't the best leads. That's why the persistency wasn't the best. As far as systems goes, I tried different go high level CRMs, right? I tried Ringy to throw in leads in there. I've tried different vendors. Really, man, it's just when you're an independent agent, it's trying to figure out like what is the best lead source, right? You're jumping from one to the other every couple months.
Yeah.
Same figuring with CRM. You just have to wear so many hats. Like it's overwhelming, right?
Yeah. So you were doing that. How was it when you first started making those sales? What was your like premium that you were trying to shoot for? Like, what was your monthly target? Were you doing like 30,000 a month, 40,000 a month? What was like the best month you've produced?
Yeah, my best month was 25 issued. Now,
Okay.
What's crazy, that's probably off of between 30 to 40,000 actually sold, but only 25 issued. Do you get what I mean?
Absolutely.
So not the best business.
Cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to go into a little bit of your sales systems. We're going to dive a little bit into how you've done it, like kind of ultimately share with you too, because now you've been able to build a system where you're selling 2 to 3 policies per day. But you and I both had a pretty, I guess, similar experience when it comes to like the vanity metrics of the business. What were some of the mistakes that you think you've made in that process when you were selling all that business? Were you, I guess, seeing the fruit of your labor? And if so not, like, what were some of the mistakes that you were making as a new agent that like you wish you could go back and avoid?
Yeah, the biggest thing is you don't sell right.
Mm-hmm.
So you're selling clients that have no idea they're being sold. They're giving you their bank information, who have no idea they're buying a life insurance policy. But when you're in a vulnerable position where you're paying for leads and you have to make the sale to at least get some money back, or else you're losing money, it's like it puts you in a position where you don't sell the right way. Sometimes you do things that aren't ethical, which just results in bad business and chargebacks, and like just you're not profiting as much as the numbers show on the leaderboards or what's issued.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
When you say you're not selling you're selling the wrong or not the right way, like what are things? Because it sounds like, when you're waking up, at least what I experienced, like you're waking up, you're getting chargebacks, you have hundreds of dollars leaving your bank account every single day because you're trying to buy leads. and then you're like finally get one person that's going to buy. Like, what are some things that you think you did um, that prevented you from selling the right way, where you could actually make some money
Hmm.
in the beginning?
Yeah. First thing is where I was at, there's one particular company that has always pushed to be sell this person, doesn't matter what it is, sell this particular company. Well, at the
Mhm.
time, that one company is like $20-$30 more than any other company.
Yeah.
So all my clients had to do was get a call from a different agent with a better company, save them money, it's a no-brainer, and that hits you with the chargeback. So that was so common. Secondly would be um, I didn't use toolkits back then. So if they weren't in not the best health, right? Automatically it was straight AIG. If they can't get approved
Mhm.
for this one company, it's AIG, even if they have COPD and I could get them day one coverage elsewhere,
Mhm.
right? And then the third would just be sometimes like if they could only qualify for guaranteed issue and they don't want guaranteed issue,
Mhm.
it comes to the way where you're selling it to them without telling them the whole truth about it being guaranteed issue, if that makes sense.
Sure. So there's a lot of like kind of like gray areas there, but it sounds like what you're saying is like actually having the best product is really important. And would you say like it's important that when you do work for a company that you understand like there's should be different products for different health conditions, especially if you're selling life insurance, not just one product?
Yeah, absolutely. So to write the best business, you have to put the clients in the best products instead of whichever one's going to pay you the most. Because
Hmm.
to be profitable, you really do have to put these clients in the best position. So then it's good business, it's irreplaceable, it's going to stay on the books.
Yeah. Despite like going through the hardships of like, I mean, probably months. Was there months where you weren't like you were losing money? You think?
Oh, absolutely. I was probably breaking even or making, leaderboard says, 25. It says on paper I've sold 30, but only issued 20, 25.
Yeah.
I probably only profited the most like 5, 6 grand. That was probably the most I've profited in a month.
In a month, and that you were there for like a whole year doing this.
Yeah, I was there for 11, 12 months.
Gotcha. When you were kind of going through it, like what kind of kept you motivated to want to push through when, there's probably months where you weren't doing well, and like why did you kind of try to push through, and ultimately like how did you push through those tough times?
Yeah, I mean, dude, Peter, I mean, I always believe in myself, whether it's insurance or whatever industry. I know
Hmm.
I'm gonna be fine. Like no matter what, I have a real strong confidence in myself, dude. I'm gonna succeed wherever I go. But what was really pushing me through is where I worked at, there were successful people. Like I had a guy who was an integrity partner that was in the
Hmm.
office. So I'm like, all right, this guy can do it. Obviously, I can do it, right? Then I
Yeah.
have another guy who now has a huge team and he's making a good amount of money. So like I've seen it firsthand. I know a lot of people don't have the um how do you say it? They don't see like it firsthand. Of course, you hear about it. You hear stories about people
Yeah.
making all this money, but I was able to see it firsthand. So that definitely motivated me. But I
Hmm.
think my thing was when we got brought into this business together, Peter. We listened to the podcast from the same guy who said if you're not making 250 a year, get an insurance, right?
Yeah.
But when we were brought in, I was more thinking of it as like, okay, we just make sales. No,
Hmm.
dude, the way you make money in those business models is you have to recruit people. And
Hmm.
I never recruited people because I never felt comfortable bringing someone on. If I'm not making money, I'm like, dude, I'm not going to have anyone fail under me. So
Yeah.
that's the reason I didn't work out in that particular business model, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's more of like because I don't know if it was like you, but I always thought it was like a sales job. Like, oh, you come and you're
Yeah,
selling, and then when you
yeah,
started doing it, there's so much more that you have to learn and you have to develop.
exactly.
Did you ever like recruit anyone, and did you feel like there was a lot of pressure to do that?
Um, yeah, there was definitely. I mean, I know a lot of people they drink the Kool Aid, dude. I'm not gonna drink the Kool Aid. I'm gonna do whatever I want to do, right?
Yeah.
But yes, there was always like, okay, cool. You made 20 sales. You made 20,000 this month in sales, but have you brought anyone on? You know? Oh, okay, cool. You sold this much, but what is your team production at? So that
Hmm.
was always a recurrent issue. Now for me, I tried recruiting my friends, but I just didn't feel comfortable with it, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like me, if I'm not doing this, like if I'm not figuring it out, like bro, like my friends who I know, like I don't want them to lose money because of me. So I never felt
Yeah.
comfortable bringing people on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's crazy, dude. The company we first started with, I mean, they've completely like dissolved. It's not even like a thing. It's
yeah,
like they were on like the hype train for like good 8 months, and then it's completely crashed. When it comes to that, there's also a lot of risks that agents take on too.
absolutely.
Um, when it comes to selling, and we're gonna jump into like why leads are important in a second, but when it comes to selling or jumping into life insurance, what are some like crazy risks that agents need to be aware of that
Sure.
you had no idea in the beginning? Because I had no idea probably some of the risks that you're gonna mention, but
Yeah.
what are some risks that agents have to really prepare themselves for?
Yeah. So I'll say first and foremost, if you don't have any sales experience to go commission only, like dude, that is risky.
Hmm.
Now, to go commission only and to fund your own business by buying leads with your own capital, like unless like you're just asking for, it's just really hard. I'll say that, dude.
Yeah,
Not only are you doing commission only, but then you're having to fund your business. So whereas if I'm just door knocking and I don't make any sales, well, I didn't lose money.
you're right.
In this business, if you don't make sales, you bought leads, you've lost thousands of dollars, right? So that's number one risk that I don't think people think of clearly when they get
Good.
started. Secondly, it's the chargebacks. When I was in college, I sold, dude, I'd work weekends. I make, 4 sales on a Saturday and Sunday. I'm like, cool, I got deposited 5 grand. Well, by the time I went to go full time, well, now I owe the company 5 grand because it charged back and they canceled. And I'm climbing a hill up top when I'm just starting full time. So that's what I
Yeah.
experienced. And then third, of course, what people don't talk about is the roll up debt. You create a team, all it takes is one bad person to have no ethics. They do bad
Hmm.
business. They have a team that does bad business, and hundreds of grands of roll up debt can go up to you, and you're
Yeah.
liable for it.
Man, that's so true. I think the lead thing's important. You're taking an investment, and a
Hmm.
lot of people too like don't have the money. Fortunately, I came from a place where I did sales, so I was able to make the money, so I had some money saved to do it. Did you? I don't. You have to share like if you had the money or not, but did they ever get told to like put your money on a credit card or like, man, like did you ever find yourself like trying to like fund this to stay alive?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was never pressured to take a credit card out, but I myself, I wanted to make this work so bad. I did. I
Yeah.
maxed out a credit card, and
Yeah.
I even took out a personal loan because I invested into, someone building out a lead system for me.
Wow.
So I wasn't pressured into it, but I definitely know some people may be to do it, but that's what I did.
Yeah, would you say like if someone doesn't have the money, would you tell them to keep going, or would you just say like probably jump ship, try something different?
Um, if you're just selling, honestly, I think in this model, if you're just selling jump ship, it's not for you.
Hmm.
Jump ship. If you can sleep at night knowing you can recruit 10 friends and knowing one of them may be successful and then
Yeah,
hoping the other 9 can bring 5 friends so you could just repeat it, this is the model for you, but only if you can sleep at night knowing 9 of your friends are going to fail. That's
yeah,
what I'll say.
and be okay with that. Walking around knowing that you screwed
Exactly.
over some people too. I think that a lot of people don't really realize. Um,
Yeah,
yeah. So, what was the third point that you said that was really the roll up debt? You said was really a huge thing that a lot of agents need to know about.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So, um let's say I have a team, right? And then I bring on one guy. This guy has sales experience doing other things. Let's say, for example, let's just say it's a door-to-door salesman. They're used to doing things under the table, right?
yeah,
All it takes is for this one guy to bring a whole bunch of buddies who do unethical business, right? They sell a lot of policies that charge back. Well, these guys see the chargebacks, they don't want to continue. They're like, "All right, I'm out of here. I made my money." Well, the
yeah,
amount that they owe is now going to roll up to you because they're under you, right? And you're
mhm,
responsible for that debt, whether
yeah,
it be 20 grand, whether it be 100 grand. Like you got to pay that carrier back that money.
yeah. There was, and it's yeah, you sign a contract to be
Exactly.
responsible for, which is crazy. Now you've kind of changed things. Things have kind of shifted. You've been consistently, selling 30 plus thousand in the system that works. What do you think agents need to know about when it comes to leads? What type of leads should they get? How important was that in part of your success? And how should you like work your leads? Like, I feel like leads are like one of the most important things in the business.
Yeah.
Um, what should agents look for when they're either joining a company? Like, should they ask what type of leads they have? This is a really diverse question. What would you share from your experience now in the past 2 years, knowing the type of leads that agents need to have type to be
Yeah.
successful?
Yeah. I am a firm believer, like now, I think a lead is a lead. as long
Sure.
as it's for life insurance. What I mean by that is, Peter, I feel like you could put me on age leads for a month. I'm still going to hit at least 30 sales, right?
Yeah.
But that's because it's still an insurance lead. Now, you have to know what the marketing is, right? If it's a marketing for a gift card and these people are signing up and that's your life insurance lead, that's
Hmm.
completely different than a marketing that says this is for your burial
Yeah.
expenses. You know, get what I'm saying? So I think when it comes to new agents looking for lead sources, don't be afraid to ask, like, what do your leads look like, so you know exactly what the people that you're talking to, what they see when they fill out these forms. As far as that, I know when people get started, obviously you have to fund your own business. You start with older leads. Dude, those things have been called by 1,000 agents, so you have to
Yeah.
get good at overcoming objections and all of that. Does that answer the question?
Yeah. If you were to start over again, a lot of agents like
Mhm.
now are struggling sometimes to make sales, and they just think the ticket out is like great leads. So they'll invest in like a lead course. There's so many like lead vendors that are like, set up your ads. Like, if you could go back again, would you pay for one of those guys faster, or would you just figure out how to actually sell the old leads better and
Yeah,
kind of keep your investment down?
1,000%. I would increase my sales skill
Yeah.
because at this point, I feel like just with the training and all that, the skill set we've acquired, I feel like you can give me any lead as long as it's a life insurance lead. Like,
Sure.
it's gonna be sellable, right? So I think people people that don't have the sales kit yet, they're spending they're investing their money on getting the fresh leads. Well, dude, even if they're the highest intent lead, it's not gonna matter if you can't sell it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, they'll probably get like one or two, like the lay downs, and then it's
Hmm.
actually not a skill that they've developed. When it comes to like developing the skill, how much time do you think it should take for someone to develop the skill to sell at a high level? And like what type of like long term mindset? Because I think a lot of people are just pitched like, come in here and you'll crush it and you'll make all this money quickly. But like, to sell something to a poor person is really hard. To
Yeah.
sell life insurance, something is people will never see, is really difficult. What type of advice would you give to someone who's like trying to figure this all out?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say you're gonna fail. Everyone, I sucked when we started. Everyone sucks when you first start. But
Mhm.
what you want to do is, it's how fast you can fail to start getting good. Like, how fast can you get your nose? What I mean by that is, if it takes a person 50 no's, like 50 presentations and missing, to start getting decent at this, is it gonna take you 30 days to do that, or is it gonna take you 6 months to do it? You know what I
Right.
mean? So for new agents, dude, I would say get as many reps as possible, as fast as you can. In 30, 60, no longer than 90 days, you should start getting a roll on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just I think it just comes down to just the pure reps that people talk
Just
about.
repetitions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes, you mentioned like some of the shady stuff in the industry that people should be. What is like the actual right way that you've learned how to sell?
Mhm.
And if you would have sold, do you think if you would have sold this way, the right way, that like things would have been different for you from the beginning?
Absolutely. Persistency would have been better, which would have made profitability. Sorry, I can't say that word. I would have been more profitable.
Yeah.
Selling the right way, putting clients in good positions. So what I mean by that is, dude, if someone's not in good health and you click no to all the questions in the application, you may get them approved, but something happens to them, it's not going to pay out to their family, right?
Yeah.
All it takes is another agent, a good agent, to talk to them for 30 seconds to be like, you're in a fraudulent policy. And then all it takes is that to be canceled and you're charged back. So definitely selling the right way, making sure they can afford it is a huge one, right? If
Yeah.
Miss Betty can only afford $50 a month, don't sell her $100 policy. She's not going to afford it. And it's just another chargeback. It's just little things like that.
Yeah, and you feel like you avoided a lot of those steps where there wasn't, a lot of things that were in line to sell the right way. When it comes to making sure someone's affordable, I think that's really important when it comes to placement and retention.
Hmm.
What are things that you think you should ask and to make sure that a client's like, yeah, I can keep it and I can actually get paid on the policy?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So before moving into the app, once you pitch the options, they pick one. I ask them like, "Hey, it's not my job to take food off the table or put a strain on your budget, right?" I'm like, "Peter, is this plan for $80 a month? Is that comfortable for you? Not just this month or next month, but every single month moving forward. Just doing a little thing like that will help." And then when you wrap up at the end of the sale, before you submit the application, just ask them again, like, hey, will you make sure that the money is there every month on this specific date? Once you get those 2 yeses, like, they're pretty locked down.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, just ensuring and just kinda asking those uncomfortable questions where you're like, "I don't really feel comfortable doing it," just kinda makes them at least make promise the things that they, promise to make the commitment to you, which is important. When it comes to your new process now, I feel like you've been able to build, like, a really consistent process. I mean, you sold 10, 11 deals this week, Monday through Friday. Or was it 11 or 14? How many did you do?
12.
12. Okay, cool. I'm slow. So 12 deals in 5 days. What is a part of that system like that you would need? Like let's say it was a system that you need to do to produce 12 policies per week. What would that system consist of, and that something that agents need to have if they're going to try to make some money in the business?
Sure, good. First, you need a good script, right? So then when you're analyzing what went wrong on certain calls, you can dissect it exactly on which part of the script you can improve on. You need a good lead system, right? With you guys, dude, I could make $500 a day, and I'm never gonna run out of leads. See, a lot of agents, they don't have the luxury of having leads, right? Some people, they buy 100 leads in a week, they run through them. Well, they don't have any more leads unless they want to go swipe their credit card again, right?
Mhm.
Third, definitely a CRM, right? What we use, I mean, it sends out drip text, right? We get inbound calls from the drip text. For persistency, you're checking in on clients every couple months, right, to make sure they're staying on the books. So yeah, good script, leads, right, volume of leads, and then a system to retain your clients like a CRM.
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to the sales process of doing the two sales per day, what do you think is the most when we're talking about the script? What do you think the most important part that agents struggle with that if they can learn, you
Hmm.
can actually start doing pretty well? But like first, you got to learn is it the intro that most people suck at that you maybe struggled at that was like preventing you from getting results? Is it
Hmm.
the discovery, underwriting, closing? Like what? If you had to be
Yeah.
like, Jan, I gotta nail this down first, what would that be?
Well, the first thing you should nail down is your intro, because you only have 30 seconds to get a lead to be moving on to the next step, right?
Yeah.
We do phone sales, right? If they don't like your tonality, if you come out too aggressive, if you come out too soft, dude, all they have to do is hit the hang up button. But after the intro, once you get that down, definitely discovery. The sale is made in the discovery, right? These are people we're just having a conversation with. We just need to figure out what their problem is and then tailor a solution to fix their problem. It doesn't get easier than that.
Yeah, but I mean, for you, it's come easy. It has to take some take some time for you.
Yeah.
Um, absolutely. So those are the processes that you think would work. What else do you think are like key parts to like kind of your success, or something that you think agents are missing when they first get started in the business?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I think the biggest thing is just not giving up. The industry has a high turnover rate, right?
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people give up too early. People leave the industry in the first 30 to 90 days. Can't blame them, but number one is just keep going, get as many reps as possible, keep going. So don't give up. Um, dude, I've been doing this dude, it's been almost 2 years. It's crazy when we were first at the first company.
Oh
So
yeah.
I didn't start like this, right? I
Yeah.
remember people would pick up the phone. They'd be like, "Hello." I'd be like, "Oh, this is Gian," and click.
Yeah,
Like
it was.
I would just hang up. Um,
It's daunting. Most people don't get good at anything in their life. They used to just jump ship to jump ship. They like get a little bit and then they leave and they try a different thing. They get a little bit better, but no one's really an expert in a lot of things, in very few things, like a true expert.
right.
And when it comes to like the sales process, understanding people, at least over the phone, I think when it comes to being an expert, I would say that's you. But it took reps. You
For
can't. I don't
sure.
think you can start the business by being an expert in like marketing and an expert in like client retention and sales. There's like so many skills that
Yeah.
you have to develop because low key, this just came to my mind. I think the industry like kind of attracts like young, desperate people and just try to like,
Yeah.
really
Can I
just,
speak on that for a second?
yeah.
So when you get recruited into this, like you're being recruited as, dude, all you got to do is make a sale and you're going to make all this money. All you got to do, Peter, is if you make 30 sales a month, like, bro, you're going to be rich. But you
Hmm.
don't know, like, dude, you wear so many hats when you're an independent agent. Like, not only do you have to be a salesman, you have to be customer service for all your back office end, right?
Yeah.
You have to be basically an accountant for all your funding of your business, right? You have to see your profit, your loss at the end of the year, taxes. You got to recruit people, right? You're wearing like 4 or 5 different hats, and then
Yeah.
not only that, but also mention marketing, right? If you want to be profitable, you need to figure out the marketing as well. For someone just trying to learn how to sell insurance, because all you're taught
Daunting.
is come in and sell insurance and you're going to be rich. Like, dude, it is so much to learn at once.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's why the turnout is so high in the industry, because people, I don't want to say they're misled, but they're not told the whole truth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I told you, Peter, come in, you can be making a whole lot of money, but you have to know how to market. You have to be
Mm-hmm.
customer service unless you hire one, right? You got to recruit. I feel like it'd be a whole different ballgame if you knew the whole truth. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And it's kind of crazy too that like the industry has been okay with like there's some person that knows deep down when they lay their head on the pillow, like I'm actually kind of like not really setting this person. Like some people you just know they don't have it, but like they'll keep feeding them like the juice. Like you got this, man. Like
Yeah.
keep going. When
And
you know, like, bro, like this person is not built for it. Like they worked at Wendy's and never spoke. Like
yeah.
they worked as a fryer, and nothing wrong with Wendy's. It's really sad. A lot of these people get like manipulated really bad.
Well, what I think the reason for that is, let's say I bring 5 people on. Well, I know none of the 5 have what it takes to make it, but they may have friends that have what it takes to make it. So then I'm like, all
Mhm.
right, you guys 5, cool, just do your sales, but bring as many people as you can as possible. So I think the business model, right, is bring everyone and their mother, right? And out of 20 agents, you hope that you have 1 or 2 heavy hitters, and then it's rinse and repeat.
Yeah. I mean, there's literally a kid I spoke to. He sold $200,000 of premium. He's in massive chargeback debt. He's in his early 20s, and he like only made a few $1,000s a month. But I'm sure there was someone in his ear like, "Man, you're doing great." He was
Yeah,
feeling like the man. They was drinking that Kool-Aid and feeling great on the leaderboard. I lived it. It's
yeah,
crazy, but it's an industry that people need to like have some caution with, and
absolutely.
um and know that like you got to look a little bit deeper before you go all in. Um, is there anything else that you'd have done differently in the stages or
Yeah,
in your trials and
yeah.
oh, that's all I had.
Had I done differently, okay, had I brought into the, had I known earlier, right, that to sell better, the chargebacks, it's just like a snowball effect, dude. Eventually, it's so big, no matter what you do, like, dude, it's so hard to get out of. When I started the industry, barely having any money, I already had like 5 to 7 grand of chargeback because of what I was doing at part time. So I already
Mm.
started with a massive hole. So definitely, I would have started selling right from the get go. Now, depending on the business model, again, no sales experience, commission sales, it's hard enough. But then to fund your own business, like it's crazy to think about, right? That you could get someone who works at Wendy's to be like, yeah, dude. So you only make commission, but you also got to buy your own leads. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I
What about the mental? Sorry to cut you off. Like the mental stress that's like not talked about there. Because when I first got this business started, dude, I was so scared. Like now that I've
yeah,
gone through it for 3 years, it's like I've seen it through. I know how it all kind of works out. I can sleep really comfortable at night. But in the beginning, bro, it was scary. Like,
yeah.
what type of impact that make on your mental health? You think?
Dude, I feel like I'm a mentally strong person, but dude, I'd wake up every single morning. Every single morning, my heart would be racing, and I'd have this like gut in my stomach. Like, dude, I don't know how to explain it,
Yeah,
but
I
I
get
would
you.
wake up and my heart, dude, I just woke up. My heart's already beating like so fast. I'm like, holy crap, dude, I'm gonna have a heart attack. And then I would drive. There was an office I used to go to. I would drive 40 minutes there, there and back, right? 40 and the 40
Mhm.
back, whatever. The whole drive home, the whole drive to the office, my heart's beating. Like this is racing, dude. It sucks. Like it is a
Yeah.
level of stress that I wouldn't want to wish upon anyone, dude. Not only that, but I had a son on the way, and I
Wow.
was like, man, I gotta start making this work for him. Like I gotta start paying bills, bro. It is a stress unmanageable. I even passed out one day. Me and
No.
my girl. Yeah, bro. Me and my girl. We were one night. We were just taking a walk around the apartment, And I was like, man, I don't feel good. I sat down and I passed out. So the level of stress is on another level. Like, I don't know how to
Bro,
explain it.
there's like things that you'll do, like you'll see the email come in and your notification on your phone, but you'll instantly clear it so you can't see who it's from, right?
Yeah, well, this is what I did. I knew that in the back of my head. I was like, I'm probably not making any money, right? But you see all these deposits come in, and you're like, 1,000 here, 1,000 here, 3 grand deposit here. So I'm in the back of my mind. I'm like, oh, it's fine. The bank account's growing, right? But I would never open up the credit card account. You know what I mean? Or what I would do is I would lie to myself, and I would never check my profit each month. It
Mhm.
wasn't until like 8 months near the end. I'm like, all right, it's time to stop lying to myself. Let me see what I'm actually making. And people out there, if you actually start seeing what you're actually profiting each month, taking out chargebacks, taking out your lead expense, like, you guys will be shocked.
Yeah.
Most of you guys will be making more money working at McDonald's.
Dude, I just literally made a video on that today. I think that's true. It's like scary to like track this stuff. Sometimes I feel like it's easy for a human brain just like to run away from conflict, but tracking your bank account every single day would be something that would help someone. Actually
Absolutely.
tracking your expenses every single day. It's a terrible feeling, but like it's like you literally cause your own pain. Like you can't
Yeah.
blame anybody else,
Yeah, no,
you
there's
know,
no one to blame but
which is
myself.
crazy. And no one's gonna save you too because they're like, good luck, you know. Um, if you had to do it over again and like do it the right way,
Mhm.
um, what do you feel like the right way to do this business is?
Yeah. If I have no sales experience, I would join a company who gives you free leads, gives you a system, and learn your sales skills. And then from
Yeah,
there, you decide whether you want to do insurance long term or not. Whatever, that's up to you. But bringing like someone with zero experience before who has never done this, guys, commission only is hard enough. Like,
yeah.
just just find a mentor that, you know what I mean.
I had a guy yesterday. He was on an interview. Guy, I won't say if they're a guy or a girl. I don't want to be specific. He or she was like, "Hey man, I want to work for you guys' company. I want to make 10 grand. Once I put 10 grand in a month, I'm gonna go back out and I'm gonna go back in the independent route. I want high commission, and I'm gonna go ahead and build this independent. The only reason I'm not making money in this business right now, he's been doing it for a year, lost like 30 grand. Well, it sold over $100,000 of final expense. He was like convinced that he didn't because he didn't have $10,000. Like he's like, as long as I get $10,000, I can buy leads, and I'm gonna make this business work. Like I was just thinking, like, dude, you haven't made it work in a year.
Yeah,
$10,000 is not gonna change it around.
yeah,
Um, what would you tell someone who's like this commission focused? Like, bro, I'm not doing that. I
commission.
want the highest commission. Like, if it
Yeah.
ain't that, I don't want it.
This is what I think. I think your commission rate does not matter. And what do I mean by that? What matters is how much you can sell, dude. If
Yeah.
if you have 120% commission and you sell 5 policies a month, and I have, let's just throw a number out there. If I have a 50% commission, but I sell 40 policies a month, dude, no matter how high your commission is, I'm still gonna be making more money than you, right?
Hmm.
So I think at the end of the day, people need to stop worrying about the commission rate and just focus on the freaking sales.
Yeah.
Um, th-
That's
yeah,
that's true. That's T, right? That's facts. Yeah, dude. It's kind of a diluted industry. It's kind of sad, but I guess through the channel, that's what we're kind of trying to bring to life of like opportunity and what can be done. And how there is opportunity, but you just got to have like the right vehicle and people around you to really support you. Um,
absolutely.
there was a guy that we used to work with, and we were one with this. He was the top guy on stage, selling 6 figures a month. You know, sharing how he's making over 6 figures a month, profit. And then one of our boys, Anton, goes up to him and he's like, "Yo, let me see your bank account." Right?
I know you're talking about.
He pulls it up and it's like less than 2 grand. But he's on the stage sharing like, "Man, I'm making $100,000 a month." But that person is screwing so many lives, dude,
Yeah.
just to be on stage. And there was people at some type of convention last week that I spoke to that were there hooting and hollering, taking pictures, flexing that literally are flat out broke,
Mhm.
but they look good on paper. So it's kind of sad, man. The industry needs some help, and a lot of people do get pretty jacked up.
Yeah, and then I'll say this as well. Like, if you're in that business model where it relies on recruiting, right? That's where most of your money is going to come. Think about who you're recruiting. If you're a young if you're a young guy fresh out of school who all your friends still live with their parents and have no bills, it's easy for them to take the risk of not making money for the first couple months, and they can
Mhm.
reinvest whatever they make. Now, if you're older and your friends are parents, single parents, they're already working, already living paycheck to paycheck. It's completely different risk tolerance. You know what I mean about the people who you recruit as well.
Yeah.
Um, you can't expect Sally with two kids who's late on rent to become a superstar in this type
Yeah.
of business,
And
right?
be okay with, yeah, absolutely. The
Yeah,
stage of life of an individual is important.
exactly.
Um, yeah, or unless someone's willing to kind of go deeper in the hole, which is also another issue that people could run into. Um, but yeah, man, cool. That's kind of like the journey. Thanks for sharing everything. And any final words that you got for the fam?
Nah, man. I mean, it's an experience, man. I wouldn't change it for anything. You learn about yourself a lot, but definitely, um, just be careful what you're getting into, right? If you think
Yeah.
you're just selling, it's more than just selling. It's hard. You definitely can make it work, right? But it's hard as heck, bro. There's a reason why
Mhm.
there's such a high turnover rate in the industry.
There's a lot of growth. I think that's a great point. If you want to grow and really see who you are and kind of how you crack under pressure, there's so much that you can learn from this industry.
Absolutely.
Um, those like sleepless nights and stuff like are actually like really valuable for
Yeah.
myself and kind of like you can probably look back and kind of laugh a little bit. Like, man, I went through all that. Like I learned a lot about who I am. And we're
Yeah.
both pretty young where we have 50 more years to just like be an absolute
Yeah.
savage to crush.
Yeah, no, and I'll end on this. Like, just master whatever you choose. Just master it. I feel like you and me, dude, we could lose everything. I could go
Mhm.
homeless, but I feel like I have the sales skill set that I could just, with no money, I could just find whatever sales it is. Like, I
Mhm.
feel like I have the sales skill set where I can get myself back on my feet. I'm
Yeah,
going to be fine, and that's something that no one can ever take away from me. So
that's
I would
fact.
just say, guys, master a skill. Like literally, Harmozy preaches it. Everybody preaches it. Just master a skill.
One
It's
thing.
never taken away. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that is pretty liberating. I think that's kind of like where I don't really have much stress. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, I can just sell. Who's the guy that cut your tree down?
Exactly. Freaking, I don't know.
What's
That
his
guy,
name?
Fernando.
Fernando. You like Fernando? Hey, I'm gonna go knock on doors. I'll get you some trees to cut down. You give me,
Exactly. He was
and you'll
talking
be
to me about it. He was talking to me about it, bro.
yeah.
He's like, bro, you got something. He's like, just sell for me. I was like,
Yeah,
nah, fam.
yeah, that's fine.